So beginner's bias, what is it? So if we're interested in personal development and learning and growing and expanding our horizons and improving ourselves, then it stands to reason that we're going to have to challenge the accepted way that things are, and we're going to have to take on board new ideas and new concepts. Now, very often, partly because of our education system, there can be some kind of pain around accepting new things, and one manifestation of that can be a kind of too early rejection of new ideas. Like, tried that, didn't work. Tried mindfulness, didn't work. Did 10 minutes, or in 5 minutes, nothing changed. Or some new teaching, like it might be non-violent communication or something like that. Or maybe you start having counselling. And I would just say with counselling, it's got to be a good fit to be helpful. So you might be right that it's not helping, but you need to give it maybe more than one session unless it's really obvious. But the point is, at the beginning of a new venture, we are not technically, by definition, we're not really qualified to evaluate that new thing that we're getting into because we don't understand its parameters. Now, we can have some good idea of how what we've seen, the little bit that we've seen, kind of fits into our existing worldview. But it's fair to say that we can't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, whether it's beneficial or not. And very often things that we initially kind of reject and go, no, I don't need that. If we persist, or if for some reason we kind of have to revisit it, then we can actually later on look back and think, yeah, I really needed to hear that. I really needed to learn that. So the point here is really, don't be too quick. If you're trying to develop, if you're trying to grow, and you're coming across new ideas, new teachings, then suspend judgment for a little while. Obviously, you don't want to be like, wide open, just take on any old rubbish, but you just need to be willing to suspend judgment and give things a fair chance, and don't necessarily follow your initial rejection, because there's a bias there. And biases, cognitive biases, you can't really stop them. You can be aware of them, and even when you're aware of them, they're still at play. So just be aware of beginner's bias and do your best to notice if it's happening, and you can kind of mitigate it to some extent. So there it is, beginner's bias. Thanks for watching.